I live in Ojai, California. Although we are a very small town, we have strange occurrences here. For how isolated and small the town is, we have more Hollywood celebs here than most of Los Angeles. There is a Scientology compound with an underground installation I have heard stories about. UFO sightings are more commonplace than I'd like to admit. My Chumash Indian family tell tales of snake brothers, who live underground, and Ojai literally means moon nest, for tales of the moon coming down from the sky to set underground. Think what you want about that. We have the Ojai vampire, the goat man known as Billy Whack, the Charman, the phantom hitchhikers, the little people, even the tall phantom-like watchers that appear on mountaintops, which I have seen before. None of these paranormal things compare to what I witnessed one summer day while going for a run. It sends chills up my spine just recalling this event. I'll tell it as I saw it. Pick not of creature but very related. This all started around July 2008, I worked at an MMA gym in Ventura and one of our superstar fighters wanted to know of any good trails for him and his brother from out of town to go on a run. I knew a scenic trail with beautiful creeks and lots of wildlife, so I recommended a path I visited with my Chumash family as a kid near Wheeler Gorge off the 33 in Los Padres National Forest. I drove my car, a riced-out Civic, and brought his brother along. Once we arrived, we ran together and very quickly they lapped me, leaving me in the dust. I kept a steady pace, as I was not a professional athlete, or whatever his brother was on. I suspect he was on meth or something by his odd behavior, so I kept a steady pace, and fell way behind. This is where it gets otherworldly. As I make my way down the hill, I see what looks like a large hairy homeless guy crawling on the ground, grunting and sniffling, making a noise similar to my old 16-year-old pit bull, like it's struggling to breathe. Its face pointed down, it was covered in mangy multicolored hair, with bald patches, no hair on the forehead, or just above its cheekbones. The way it crawled, it was rocking its shoulder and hips side to side, similar to the way a gecko crawls. It had tufts of long hair almost like mutton chops, and had tufts of hair that were pointy like the X-Man, Wolverine. I don't know why I didn't call to it at first, maybe because when any of us see a crazy bum, we ignore and try to resist eye contact, I don't know. I kept quiet and just kinda froze, trying to make sense of what I was looking at. I noticed its shoulder blades going flat and it stepped, then pointing up at a sharp angle almost like wings, but they were just freakishly long, and high. Its chest was not flat, but wide and pointy, like a large skinny dog, with mange or hairlessness in the very bottom. It wasn't till it turned left sideways and crossed my path right in front of me until I felt my stomach sink. As it turned and walked right in front of me, I got a full and slow glimpse of what it was. It was long, 12 to 14 feet, and it was large and muscular. It had a nose ridge like a person, it had a chin and long clawed fingers, it had eyebrows, and a human-like face. Its belly narrowed and was abnormally thin, very much like a greyhound. It had freakishly long cat legs, only with stubby human-like toes with a few of its claws missing on the hindquarters. It had this is going to sound weird, a saggy old man ballsack and a human dick, wrinkly and gross, and what was a long skinny spine-like tail with ridges just like an extension of its spine. It had bony hips with what looked like a skinny saggy ass. I literally couldn't move. I was clenching my fist so bad I cut into my palm, and as bad as I wanted to scream, I just whimpered. It was fucking massive and demented looking, and I just remember thinking, I hope it doesn't notice me. Just as I was thinking that, it suddenly turned up its ears, which at first I thought was its hair till I saw its fleshy hairless inner ear ridges. They even had dirty black spots, much like old cats do. And realized they were very large pointed ears. Then it turned to look at me with a look of surprise on its face. What scared me the most was its very human expressions. It had raised its fucking eyebrows and gave me a look of genuine surprise, mouth agape. I'm not sure what trance or panic I was in, but I was in full flight or fight mode. I just felt so paralyzed with fear I couldn't move a muscle and my whole entire body felt tight, like my own muscles were going to tear off my bones from the tenseness. my mind and heart racing. I didn't notice it turned to face me. But when it did, it gave me a very sinister look and crouched down, turning its ears back, looking straight at me. The human expression looked like. Best way I can describe its face, imagine a swole-ass Triple H, really pissed off, hairy as fuck with sunken eye sockets, high cheekbones and wolf ears popping out the side of his head, giving you a look like, "You are fucked, you are mine." That's when it smiled. I don't want to say it bared its teeth like a cat or lion would. It did bare its teeth, but it was far more of a smile, like an evil, cocky, totally fucking with its prey smile, and I noticed its mouth was wide and full of needle-like sharp yellow as fuck teeth. It had rows and rows behind rows, exactly like a shark. At this point, if I had eaten earlier I would have definitely shit my shorts. I was already accepting the fact that I would die and no one would ever see me alive. This thing could eat me, bones and all, easily, and I knew it. Right then I heard a thumping of footsteps. It was Jeremy and his brother running back around the trail. I couldn't see them, but they couldn't have been more than 60 feet away. Now Jeremy was about 6'4"-ish, 240 pounds, his brother was also a massive built dude. I was 155 soaking wet, so I'm guessing to this day, maybe it preferred more meaty prey, but just as they made their way closer, it turned its head towards the footsteps, then gave me the side eye. It turned back the way it was heading across the trail and went on its way, giving me a human look like, "You know I had you," and giving me an evil side eye as it walked back into the brush, like, "Catch you later, motherfucker," on my grandmother's life. The most terrifying thing about it all was its incredibly human expressions. You might run into a bear or lion, but anything that can express real intent the way this thing did is truly the most horrific thing you could ever experience. If only you fuckers could begin to imagine. Anyway, I ran the opposite way down the trail, so fast at points it felt like I was hovering over the ground. I eventually twisted my ankle and had sprained for weeks after, but I just had to get to my car. As I jumped in, I just started the engine and burned rice. Halfway down the mountain, I remembered Jeremy and his brother. I didn't want to, but I had no choice but to turn back. If Jeremy was alive he would surely kick my ass, and that was an ass beating I wasn't willing to risk. I came back to a pissed off UFC fighter and his brother banging on my hood, pissed off. He instantly cooled down when he saw me visibly shaken. Now I'm no pussy, I work at a tavern as a bouncer, dude, 4 black belts okay, and I'm one-on-one trained by Ventura's own Tony LQQE Ferguson, no bullshit, and I'm known to be somewhat fearless. But they saw me sobbing like a little girl, hesitant to explain exactly what I saw. I said it was a weird creature. Jeremy decided to run back and investigate, only a 2 to 5 minute run for his pro ass. I grabbed his arm to stop him, which I'll admit, was not met with coolness. He set off running and I kept my car running. Not 4 minutes later he came sliding down the hill in a cloud of dirt, banging on my hood, he and his brother jumping in my car screaming "Go fucker go," without even closing the door. I peeled out and drove away, never to come back again to this very fucking day. Still hesitant to explain exactly what I saw, I work at the gym, so ridicule from 40+ alpha male types thinking I'm crazy would make for a bad hostile workplace. But according to Jeremy and his bro, Jeremy came to about where I saw it too and said he saw for a split second what looked like a bear running down the hill through the trees, and he didn't hesitate to run. His brother, who got a slightly longer but short glimpse through the trees, mind you they didn't get a good glimpse, said it resembled a long hairy brown snake slithering down the hill. After dropping them off at the gym, I bummed a few cigarettes off someone's girlfriend, and was very short with anyone asking what happened as I wanted to forget it ASAP. I never smoke and this kinda freaked some people out. When I finally got home, my dad, Chumash Indian, asked what happened to my ankle. I said we went to Ojai to go for a run and I must have slipped and twisted it. My dad can always sense when something is wrong. It's something I've grown to both love and hate. He looked at me, then laid back on the creeper roller to work under the car and said, and I quote, "Be careful up in Ojai, son, there are spirit creatures that exist between worlds that can drag you into the underworld." My stomach sank once again. It was one of the most ominous things I ever heard him say to me. That was roughly 12 years ago. To this day I'm not sure what exactly it was. I have researched skinwalkers, wendigos, sphinxes, of which there is a monolithic ancient sphinx in Malibu, and manticores. It may have been a manticore as the shoulders could be mistaken for wings, the way they were elongated and kinda looked like flapping wings as it walked, and the spiky tail kinda resembled a scorpion tail as in legend, and it did have needle-like teeth, but it was definitely an ancient and incredibly large creature. I've since tried too hard to make sense of it all. I've compared missing 411 maps, with maps of cavern systems, with maps of Bigfoot sightings, with maps of deep underground bases or supposed UFO bases, and found them eerily similar. I'm not saying this is true, but I think maybe mythical creatures many people claim to see may just be genetic experiments made as guardians to protect hidden bases, as the sighting may be excused as crazy by people, which would be a great cover-up. Truth is, I'm not sure what I saw, I'm not sure what it was, I just know it was real, and I hope no one ever runs into one. And yes, assholes, I know this isn't a skinwalker story and the snapshot is of a video of an alleged skinwalker, but whenever I draw this thing from memory I immediately burn the picture because bad shit happens every time I do.